The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Beneath the Cowl podcast, Cosplay Alliance, our partners and affiliates. This episode may contain coarse language and sensitive subject matters. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to the Beneath the Cowl podcast. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, if you don't know, and I got a bunch of cool male cosplayers. We're going to discuss something very manly, mental health. I'm going to let everybody go introduce themselves and explain or let everybody know why mental health is important to them, starting with Noah.
All right, that's me. Hi, my name is Noah, or you guys probably know me better as Freakish Workshop. I'm a foam smith kind of cosplay, comic book, all that fun jazz. Mental health is something that's been a little bit more important to me recently in the past few years since my grandfather passed away. And so it's just something that, you're with a little bit more powerful emotions, let's say, kind of just in the mix now. Just a few, last week I had a whole day where I was just crying because I missed him, and it's something that's been a bit more present, and so I just pay a bit more attention to it, and I let it come, because emotions are part of you, so you kind of have to learn how to ride the waves and when to duck out of them. So I guess that's why it's important to me.
Okay, incredible cosplayer.
Hi, my name is Mitchell Kai. I'm very well known as the Incredible Cosplayer. I've been cosplay for 5 years. I mainly do Spider-Man, but I recently did an X-Men character, Nightcrawler, so it's becoming very popular. And I think mental health is very important for not just to feel healthy, but find your happiness through it, like find your inner peace. I guess. I'm sorry. I'm just a little nervous. So yeah.
But just channel your inner Kurt Wagner. He'll be okay. He's always got wise words. Always got wise words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zach and Reed.
I'm Zach, better known online as Get Zacked, cosplayer, stuntman, blah, blah, blah. And I'm on here to talk about mental health because I myself suffer from some pretty awful mental health problems. Actually, we just went and got my mental health medication probably an hour ago. So from Shoppers. So it's a very important and real part of my life that I have to deal with.
Richard. Hi guys, my name is Reed. Online, go by Reed's Props Plus. Professional cosplayer and prop maker. Men's mental health is very important. Something that not a lot of people focus on or talk about that often. But as just our society kind of hardwires men to be a certain way, men's mental health is kind of pushed aside. But I'm glad we get to kind of highlight it for a month and actually talk about it because it's really important. It's important to me because I feel like I'm fairly in tune with my emotions and stuff, which is something that's not very promoted as a man. But I feel like to be a better person and a man, it's something you really need to do. So with that, I feel like it helps you just become a better person besides also being a man.
Yeah. And last but not least.
Hey everyone, I'm Friso of Friso Cosplay. Obviously cosplayer by the name and prop builder, 3D printer enthusiast. Men's mental health is really important to me because I've lost family and friends to mental health, and that's been a big thing for me getting through it, and myself manning up and finally getting the help I need. I will be going to getting help in a few weeks, so I finally signed up for counseling. So it's one of the things of just manning up and taking the right steps.
Congratulations! And oh wait, sorry, we got a late edition here.
Yo. Hopefully not too.
Rose. All right. We literally just go around introducing ourselves and letting people know why I'm important. To just be like your next step. It's on you. It's on you.
Oh, it's on me?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, my bad. What's up, everybody? My name is Venture Bros. Venture Bros Cosplay. Yeah, I would have worn my tank top had I known, we were gonna come out looking all buff right now. Man, dang, oh, he flexed those. Dang, what my tank said. But yeah, man, happy to be on the podcast today. Talk about men's health and fitness and stuff. So,
All right, Friso, you said something that I think has been a problem for like men in general. It's like the word "man up," right? Like, can we change what that means? Because normally means you don't need to ask for help. You need to just figure it out on your own or push through it. And I think I don't know if people know, but like men are 4 times a lot more likely to commit suicide. And I think literally that is part of the reason, because we're taught to just man up and work through it on your own. And how do we fix that trauma? How do we deal with that?
But I definitely
I think you said it really well. It's about, stop the stigma that we have to basically carry the burden, and that sometimes, either getting help or talking it out is important instead of just bottling it up and keeping it in. I think we've all grown up with people telling us, hey, you're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to be weak, and those are the kind of things that I'm trying to get over and stop trying to like fix everybody and just fix myself.
That's true. Yeah. I I definitely agree because I don't know about you guys because men grew up to be like, we have this we're supposed to have this image that we're supposed to be tough, where we don't need like emotional support or anything like that, like that. But I think talking things out is so important, and there are times I break down a lot and felt lonely, and I feel like I need to express and talk about my emotions to someone that I'm really close to. So yeah, talking out your emotions really helps. You can't always do it by yourself, so you can't hold the emotional heavy burden by yourself. So yeah, talking helps. So,
and I think as much as I hate this saying, there needs to be like almost a safe space for men to be able to talk about it. Like it's so looked down upon for men their feelings, because it's like saying earlier, you're viewed as like weak, and I personally feel like whenever I talk about my mental health issues, being like a big guy and all this, I'm not taken seriously, where it's like I'm actually going through like all these things. People are like, oh, he'll handle it, he's big and tough, and it's like on the inside it's like, but I'm just a squishy marshmallow. I don't want to go through this, right? Like alone. But there's this expectation that society's put on us that we have to like white knuckle it and just go through it ourselves without any sort of support.
It's very generational based kind of mentality.
Definitely
that has
our
parents' generation over time, like especially now with more like research and statistics, everything that you guys were saying earlier, that like there's been more proof that men just, again, like everyone's been saying, men's mental health has just been pushed to the side. Now that it's not, all of like the numbers and stuff of just how like genuinely insane like suicide rates are and like self-harm rates and all that stuff of us just like trying to deal with living without actually going through your problems. Like there's a reason why like people who are like 50, 60 years old are just bottled up and so like messed up mentally. It's because they never had that kind of window or safe space or whatever to kind of process their emotions and stuff. Whereas nowadays, like I feel like it's a lot. It's still not perfect, obviously, but it's a lot
on this podcast.
Exactly, it's a lot better than it like was, and I feel like with all issues, like the best way to try and get somewhere with them is to talk about them, and that's why like all of us are kind of doing this, right? So I feel like men's mental health definitely is something that we all need to focus a bit more on,
Take more seriously.
Exactly.
Yep, and that's exactly why I said when I said I'm going to start going to counseling pretty soon, that I'm manning up to go to counseling.
Congratulations, good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Big step.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just wanted to say about that, like, because a lot of people, whether they've tried or not, or you may not find the right person on the first try, right? It's something that it takes time to kind of build that bond or, you know, relationship with. So like if it doesn't happen the first try, don't feel bad. Just try again. Seriously, it took me a few tries.
I have 3 picked out just in case.
Nice.
I'm dealing with very kind of complex things. Like I said, I've lost a few friends and family to suicide. So it's finding like the right person to talk to. And keep in mind, I didn't want to go down a hole, so I made sure I stayed expressing it with my friends, telling them, you know, how I'm feeling. But at some point, you kind of need help, and you need professional help. Very complex.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I come from a job, correctional officer, and there comes a point where you can't help yourself anymore. Like it's like, okay, like I have all these tools and they can help me, you know, maybe 70% of the way, but now I need that professional help to get me that extra 30% because it's now out of my wheelhouse. I don't understand or know the tools that I need. So it's you know, it's good that you've taken that and gone to decide to go to counseling. I've been in counseling for 2 plus years now. And just that first initial step of getting there, it takes a lot of guts, and then to be able to talk about it, because again, it's like, you know, oh, men, you're sad and need help, like man up, right? It's not what we want. We want to be heard and be able to express our feelings without judgment, but that's just not how society, or especially with I always say that the dinosaurs who are in charge of most of the things, they all come from like everything, any sort of, because I work for the government, any sort of like government like institution that's run by people, they're like, well, that's not how we did the things in the 70s, and it's like, and that's why we're stuck in the 70s mentality, because all the people who are in charge are people with that mentality who are like just not willing to evolve with time.
Right.
And like speaking of that, so I had my father struggled with some really, really deep mental health issues. And speaking of like laws and stuff like that, so I know they're different in each state, but in Georgia, growing up, essentially it was on the person who had an illness. If they was an adult, they had to be the one to say, I need help. And if they don't, if you as your family go in and petition for it, it didn't matter. That was one thing that always shook me, because when you know that something's wrong, you can see that something's wrong, and you're going as a family saying professionally something needs to happen, and there are still laws that prevent people from that you love getting the help they need.
That's actually crazy. Yeah. Because up here, like you think something's even off with somebody, you can send the cops to their place.
Like I remember when. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it.
Like, so I was a captain in the military, but I remember when I first joined, enlisted, and it was so taboo to go to life skills, because that's where you go to pretty much talk about anything you're going through in life. But it was so taboo to go to life skills, period. And if you're a guy going there, like it was almost like they try to act like you were crazy when really it was just you talking about your problems with somebody. And I just remember the huge stigma behind like actually trying to seek help being in the military. And it's you think that like they'd want you to
need
seek
it.
help if you're feeling some type of way. Yeah. But no, man, it's like, they put you on a special program if that happens. And it's just, so nobody wants to ever go get help, especially guys, because that's like so taboo for anybody that's like masculine to go seek help, But it's just a huge toxic problem. And when you said you can get in trouble for doing things like that, that immediately, I was like, in the military, yeah. You go try to talk to a counselor or something, they're going to tell your first sergeant or your CO. And then next thing you know, man, a whole bunch of people are like trying to put you in programs. And it's like, I just wanted to talk about how like me and my girlfriend broke up or something, or like all the pressure I'm under, like that's it.
And then throw in your super stressful job on top of all of that.
Yeah.
That's, that's actually very similar with my job. It was like me, I felt like I almost had like a responsibility, again, being a big, scary guy, to be able to speak out about my mental health problems, because who was gonna say anything to me?
Right.
So, but there was a huge stigma, and still is, with even in like corrections, which is crazy because corrections has like one of the highest rates of like PTSD, mental health, divorce rates, like suicide rates, and like people are like, oh, let's not talk about a problem. It's like the average correctional officer dies a year and a half after they retire from stress, and you guys don't want to talk about your problems. Like for me, it's like, grow up. Like
right.
we need to talk about these things. Like, you want to live this long life instead of working and then dying. It's like,
right.
Let's take the 1 hour a week to talk to a therapist about what's bothering us.
Because it all falls under putting in the work, When you said earlier that, he found a therapist, I was like, yeah, that's putting in work. It's just like if somebody goes to the gym or somebody studies for a class, you got to put in the work in yourself and your mental health. So, a lot of people don't support it. I mean, nowadays people are supporting it more. But, in certain career fields, they don't support you getting that help. But you need to put in that work. And I advise this to anybody, especially people who are like getting married. It's nothing wrong with going to couples counseling and getting counseling yourself just to get in that right headspace, because you don't know what you have, what skeletons you have in your closet that are affecting you subconsciously. So I always encourage people like, yeah, just, go. You don't have to go every week, but go a couple of times a month just to, make sure that everything is okay,
Yeah, check in.
Yeah.
Even
I kind of want to touch
like
on
deal
something.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Even if it's not like to deal with your relationship, just to check in and see how you guys are all doing mentally, like couple-wise, for instance. Just how are you feeling? It doesn't have to be even about your relationship. It could just be, as a couple, could you potentially together deal with something like that? So,
Yeah, because just because you're going to couples counseling doesn't mean that there's necessarily an issue in the relationship.
Right.
You could be bringing a problem, like a work problem or something, outside, and now it's affecting your relationship.
Exactly.
Or it could be, I always say that if you come from like an abusive relationship, you have relationship trauma. So it's like it might be an issue that is so hyper specific that it doesn't really come out until you're in another relationship.
And you don't even realize it.
Yeah, and then it becomes that whole like, you need to heal from the cuts that somebody else gave you, so you don't bleed on the people that didn't cut you.
Something I want to touch on with both of y'all having, super high stress jobs. I think it's important to say that everyone has their breaking point, right? Y'all have these incredible jobs that are like obviously super stressful, but a lot of people, I think, they see that and they're like, well, my problems aren't as big as their problems. But the thing is, we all have, our cups are different sizes. So some people can, they can take a whole, gallon, while other people can take a few ounces. And I think it's important to say that mental health is individualized. It's not this like set spectrum.
It's unique.
So we need to be, it's important to know that, like, I got some heavy stuff, but even if you just don't feel fulfilled in your life, there's tons of people who are working 9-to-5 jobs, barely, making ends meet, or even just making ends meet and just living a very kind of non-fulfilling life. That can cause a whole lot of stress to the point of, you getting to a trouble state, I would say. So I think that's important to say.
No, I'm with you. I would always express that to my partners. I was dating somebody who was a server, and she always felt like she couldn't talk to me about her issues. And I told her that we all have what I call relative stress. So just because she's never been a correctional officer doesn't mean that her problems aren't real.
Like everyone has issues in certain ways, certain types. It's like, I don't want to use trauma bonding as a term or like compromise or discussion, but like truly, like you've had issues, I've had issues. Well, how did you deal with them? How did I deal with them? How could we potentially help each other with our not coping mechanisms, but dealing with the issues and stuff like that? Like,
yeah, and even if, like, again, we're not coming from the same stressful field or whatever, you could still teach me something that might work for me.
Exactly. Or just something that like helps you calm down or like deal with certain stressful situations. Exactly. Got that 4-second box breathing. That's a great process just to like lower your heart rate, calm down a bit, and in those high tension, like high stress scenarios, like there you go.
Yeah. And one thing I always like to point out to people is like social media is not real, right? It's what people want you to see, right? So like something that kind of affected me was like when Robin Williams committed suicide. I was like, this dude is bringing so much joy to other people, and he's struggling with something so bad with depression, and it forced him to commit suicide. And that really is like, wow, if he person that brings all this joy, then like obviously we all need to be, looking inside.
I don't remember.
Like I used to be real bad about I used to always be real bad about when rich people commit suicide. I used to be just the worst and real judgmental. And I'll be like, why are you committing suicide? You're rich. Like you can do whatever you want. Why do you? And I used to be real like toxic, and I didn't care when rich people committed suicide. But when Robin Williams died, that's when I kind of started really looking into things like, like why would a guy who everybody knew who he was, everybody loved him, why would he kill himself? And that same thing with Jason Frank, the Green Ranger, when he killed himself, and then you look into like their life a little bit and you see like, he had just went through a divorce, and he was going through things with his family, and then you see things that you don't see on the surface level of like, and that's when it's like, oh man, like, so I really had to, dial it back when I used to judge rich people for committing suicide and stuff, because I was real bad about that.
Yeah. When I heard about Jason Frank committing suicide, I was like, he was the last person to do that. Like if you seen him in the videos behind the scene, the Power Ranger stuff or everything, and in the cons, he was like a happy guy. He had a great time of his life, and like this is a guy who loves his life and commits suicide. I mean, that's crazy. That's really crazy. I mean, I never met the guy, but he was like my child. He was my favorite Ranger growing up, and it's still is unreal for me because how can someone who has so much life and happiness do that? Like you said, you step back a little bit, and he has a lot of problems go on his life, and it still is hard to believe to see that.
It's that whole check on your happy friends.
Check on your happy friends. I don't remember the full quote, but it's like usually those with the biggest smiles hold like the darkest secrets or something, or like most trauma or something like that, because they know what it's like to just feel like Can we swear in this?
Yeah, we're allowed to swear, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just fucking trash. And they're like, I would rather portray or like show like happiness to potentially bring happiness to others than kind of show what I'm actually feeling, because I wouldn't want anyone else to feel this way. Again, you guys brought up Robin Williams, like me, or like you guys and so many others. Robin Williams is a huge person of my childhood. And like when I was wrecked, like when that happened,
That was awful.
I met him when I was younger, years ago, and I was like a kid. So I'm like, this is crazy. I'm meeting Robin Williams. Genie, I'm meeting from Jumanji, like all these like my favorite films. I'm a big movie guy, and like when it's just like how you guys were saying, it's like I never met him, but like through his art and through his comedy and through all these things, you feel like you know him as a person, and then something kind of it's not really. I mean, it still relate, but I don't think I think he died from cancer. But Akira Toriyama, for instance. That one,
he was young too.
Yeah, that was recent. Like that one, like obviously never met him, but created Dragon Ball. Want something that I feel like as guys we probably all have at least.
Why do you think I work out?
Exactly. No one heard of that hit like bricks, and I'm like, I've never met the guy obviously, but like he had such an impact on my life. Something that brought so much happiness to everyone or to so many people. Robin Williams is the exact same. So like. Obviously different circumstances, but something like that, like it's just like social media. You idolize these. Kevin Conroy. There you go. Another one. Batman. Again, just like Kurt Conroy. I think he passed of lung cancer.
He was sick.
He was, yeah. But again, stuff like that. Like you gotta think of people that smile the most and the people that kind of check on your happy friends, because you never know. Like a lot of the people that you know that might be like super extroverted or super positive, or like you always see them with a smile. It's like you never know. Like they might be fighting battles that no one has any idea. I know. I personally, I'm always like a pretty smiley, cheerful guy. But like, there's a lot of stuff that I do not talk about with people from my past that I have talked with people about it, but like whenever I like do bring it up, people are like, "Whoa, like you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm good. I've worked through it, but like that's not something that I want to bring to the table for other people to potentially have to deal with." But it's definitely something that with stuff like this, mental health, it's very important because you never know. Like,
I saw a commercial not too long ago that like was like that, where it was two people, it was two men, and they were at like football games or something.
Yeah.
And the one guy was super sad all the time. The other guy was happy, and it just kept going through scenes of them showing up to a new football game, and then suddenly the happy guy wasn't there anymore. And it was like he was the one that was suffering and keeping it to himself.
Yeah.
And he had taken his life.
There was a real good scene in Watchmen where Rorschach had said he was just telling a story, and he said that there's this guy who went to a psychiatrist, and he was telling the psychiatrist, like, I've been feeling real bad lately, and I really don't know what to do. I don't know who to turn to. And the psychiatrist said, maybe you need to relax. There's a comedian in town, Geppetto. Go to his show, get a good laugh. And then the guy said, "My name is Geppetto." And I thought that was really deep, because I'm like, yeah, if you're one of those people that everybody looks to for laughter or for happiness, sometimes you don't have anybody to turn to yourself. And with a lot of men, they're in that situation where you have to be either strong for somebody or funny for somebody or happiness. And everybody looks to you, and then it's like, well, where do I really look to?
I actually came up with a term for that. I call it the curse of the strong. It's like you yourself are this pillar of strength that holds everybody else up, or people come to you with their problems, but nobody sees your issues, or they think that because you're so strong for everybody else that you're strong enough to exactly. And then it becomes that quote of just because I carry it well doesn't mean that shit isn't heavy.
Yeah.
And it must have been such a big burden with Robin Williams and what Jason Frank had to go through because they seem very happy people, but in like you've seen their posts through social media and all that stuff, and we only see the image of it, but not the outside of it. So that's I don't know. It's mind boggling, and you can't like you guys said, you gotta keep an eye on the friends who have the biggest smile the most. So yeah.
Make sure you check in.
It's always
Make sure you
important.
check in. Yeah, like I had a friend recently that just messaged me out the blue, and then like just talking about, oh man, I'm struggling going through divorce, and all of a sudden it was like, I know exactly what that's like, and we just talked for a few hours about, look, this is what I went through. I know you're feeling this similar things, and it just made it easier to know that okay, I'm not crazy for experiencing these feelings and like anger, depression, whatever it is, frustration. It's like it's normal. I don't care if you're a guy. You're supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel these things.
Right.
Exactly. And if you don't, then something's actually like wrong.
Right.
It's like you're I obviously, yes, in our society you can be desensitized and you can be the stereotypical bury all your shit and then it will never come back to haunt you. Obviously, we all know that doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
But like, if you kind of don't deal with your stuff, you will just end up.
It'll hurt you some way, or
Exactly.
people you love.
Yeah. What's that? It's not even. It doesn't even have to be for mental health, but like there's that commercial. It's like, where does depression hurt? Everywhere. Who does depression hurt? Everyone. I don't know if that's a Canadian exclusive commercial,
But it's true.
but it's absolutely true. And yeah.
Well, even like if we talk about suicide, and when people complete suicide, it's like obviously they were in such an awful space that they felt that they needed to take their own lives, but then when they're gone, the pain that it leaves for everybody else as well, and it causes like you were saying yourself, like you're now seeking therapy from people in your life completing suicide, right? It's like now you have a burden of your own as well to handle, because it like depression, suicide, all of that affects everyone.
I think a great example of this is the Bear Show.
I love the Bear.
I watched that, but I heard.
I love the Bear.
Yeah, it's the entire show is exactly that. It's everyone else dealing with a suicide and dealing with it in very different and usually unhealthy ways. But the Bear is it's a great show, but B, it does exactly what we're talking about, especially with the character. Because the guy who commits suicide, you don't see it like it happens before the show kind of begins, is John Bernthal. So you're watching like the Punisher, who's like right now he's one of those manly men in media right now, right? Everyone thinks Punisher and all that kind of stuff, but and yeah, he's the one that is like the pillar of a family and all that kind of stuff, and then you're just dealing with the kind of aftershock of that. So.
And what's great about the Bear is that you see all these characters going through the aftermath of it, and they're healing in their own way, in a stressful, twisted, crazy way of how they handle things. So I think that's what I love about the show, is that people handle their own stress differently than what we normally do stress. So we handle stress very differently. People are different in their own way. So yeah.
And speak from experience, it does come back. I can tell you because when I lost a family member about 2 years ago to suicide, I thought I was okay, or really okay, and then my brother-in-law's brother committed suicide recently, and then I realized, man, I'm not okay. It comes back really hard.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not right away. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little while ago, actually, I kind of had a similar situation like that. I went away on vacation like in February just to visit my grandparents like in the States, and that was like a really nice time because like as I'm getting older, they're getting older, and I'm like, okay, it'd be nice to spend some time with my grandparents, just enjoy time with them, and it was really great. I had a great trip, and when I came back, the week I came back, two of my friends, one of my friends I went to high school with, both the exact same age as me, and then one of my childhood friends, they both committed suicide in the same week. So when I got back, I had like 2 funerals to go to, and like it hit me, obviously, being like how sudden it was and whatnot. But then, just like how I brought it up before, Akira Toriyama, I believe in the rule of 3. So like usually, whether good or bad, something's gonna probably happen in 3. So my 2 friends I lost hit me a bit, and I obviously was sad and whatnot. But like I didn't fully like let my emotions just go through the process of like accepting what had happened. And then like maybe like after both of the funerals, and then like a couple days after I was just at home kind of dealing with it, I tried to bury myself in work and working on some props and stuff. I found out about Akira Toriyama. And again, just like I was saying earlier, such like obviously I didn't know him, but like with something like Dragon Ball, it had such a cultural impact on me and just so many people in general. And there was just so much outpour of like love and support and like condolences and stuff for like some guy that no one has ever met. But that night, like I just finally kind of let myself feel it, and I was sobbing for like hours, and I was like, just like I needed to finally get that release out. But like with stuff like that, it's just you never know, and like it definitely really hit me because they're both people I grew up with the exact same age as me, and it's like although like we perpetuate this, like, just like how you guys were saying, like the pillar of strength and all this, you can't let that dictate your entire like emotional standpoint of who you are and like what you are to other people. Because if you do, again, like you're going to have situations like this where it just eats at you until you deal with it. And then you don't want it to eventually boil over and then explode at that point where you're hurting others, when you could have just dealt with it, although it's hard,
probably in a more healthy way,
but dealt with it exactly in a more healthy way, in a more controlled manner, in a safe space. Because if not, like
you're gonna deal with it.
You're gonna deal with it either way, whether you like it or not. So it's better to, I don't want to use like the rip the Band-Aid off kind of thing, but deal with it now so you don't have to deal with it later, because
other people don't have to deal with it.
Exactly. Or so others don't have to deal with it later, or you reap the seeds you sow. Yeah, you reap what you sow. Like I'd rather deal with stuff now, even though it's going to be hard, than deal with it years later after I've had years or months or days or whatever it is of just bottled up emotions.
And like probably other stuff too.
Exactly. It'll snowball mentally, whether you realize it or not. And
it becomes that whole, like, you hear people like somebody killed themselves and murdered their best friend, but the person doesn't have a mental breakdown that they lose their pen.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like don't be that. Don't like let yourself get to that point.
So what do y'all think about the accessibility of it? I don't know how it is in Canada, but like as far as like being able to have your insurance pay for therapy sessions, things like that, medication.
Well,
He can definitely speak on that.
It's shit. I have a relatively stressful job where people should be going to therapy. I have better benefits to go cover me to get a massage than I do to go get mental health help.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think, in here, I live in Texas, so United States. I think it really depends on what company you work for, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I get 16 free sessions a year with my company through my health insurance,
Fuck, that's
which is
actually
I'm blessed.
good.
Yeah, I'm blessed with that, and it's the
Yeah.
bigger companies that do that because, like you said before, it used to be such like, oh, mental health, yeah, no, forget that. But I'm seeing it more and more. Keep in mind, these big companies are not looking for the fact that, oh, we want to take care of you. They're looking like, hey, we want to keep these people working, and they're realizing mental health is a big way to keep people working because the person who's not healthy mentally is not going to show up at work, is going to call in, is not going to perform. So obviously these big companies, like I work for a big company, are starting to pay out to health insurance for health insurance cover mental health, and that's one big thing I'm seeing lately.
I mean, to your point about companies, like I know for I work at a hospital, St. Joseph's Hospital. So at our hospital, we literally have a room, a decompression room for people to go to, and they can lay down in there. They can literally sit in there and just listen to music. So we have spaces just for that. So that shows like the seriousness of, what you're saying. Like big companies want their employees to be in good mental health because then they'll work more. They'll go to work more.
So yeah, it feeds into the stigma of like we're at the cusp of basically society realizing that physical health, yes, is important, but mental health is extremely important because, I mean, you just look at performance. You look at people showing up to work. You look at people not committing suicide. I mean, and you see more fight for it, which I'm glad. I just you still have to look at why they're doing that.
Absolutely.
Completely agree.
So, if your company covers it, man up, get some help. This is gonna be. I feel like that's now my saying for going forward.
Man up and get help.
We're gonna twist it. Man up. We're gonna switch it around.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's the stigma too. Like carrying the load and just going out there. And I felt that like the past few years, I've been like, you know what, I need to help my family get through the situation that happened. I need to be there for my wife. I need to be there for my friends. And like you said, it explodes. Like I didn't have one big breakdown. I had a lot of little breakdowns, which is probably better than just completely, blowing up. But yeah, so I looked it up. The company covers, stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it. There's a lot of push from my wife. This is not all me, so I have to give credit to where it is. But yeah, it's I think it's really important for us to realize that see if your company covers it. See if if they cover one session, 2 sessions, a ton of sessions. It doesn't. That's one thing or problem is that if I didn't have healthcare, I think the session would have been $125, something like that, per session. So not a lot of people can afford that, and that sucks.
Yeah, accessibility, no matter what it is, usually is kind of a pain in the ass, especially in this day and age, this economy. It would be nice if they made stuff like mental health way more accessible, but obviously, exactly the thing, exactly crutches and stuff, drugs, suppressants, stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's easier to get or have access to than stuff that you actually. It's like the junk food versus healthy food option. Why did they make junk food and stuff so much cheaper than healthy food? Where it's something you need in order to stay healthy and stuff. Your body and your mind, they go together, right? So why not make mental health and stuff like that where your mind will be better cheaper so that you can better yourself versus have shit that's just going to completely deteriorate your mentality, your mindset, your literal degradation of your brain, when you could just have more affordable therapy and you can talk about your problems and deal with them. What a world we live in, huh, guys?
So
great, isn't it? But hey, outside of therapy, I will say this: we have like this podcast right now. We're able to talk about this. I would say easily 15 years ago, this would be either like people be making fun of it. People give us a hard time. I've been seeing the comments come over here, and I really appreciate the comments. Like people saying, "Thank you for talking about this. Thank you for expressing this." Like there's a lot of thank you versus like 15 years ago.
Look,
And 15 years.
15 years. I'll give you like 3. I give you 3 years ago.
I would say I give you benefit of the doubt 15 years ago. But yeah, you're right. I mean 5 years ago even.
I agree. I think the pandemic also had like a lot of things happened during the pandemic as well that like shed a light on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
People got left alone with their thoughts at home in their house, and they started realizing, "Holy crap, I need help."
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh wait.
I don't remember who said it, but there was a quote from I think a professor or something like that. Some doctor is talking about how everyone's kind of surprised at how people reacted in the mental health influx of people who just are reporting that they're struggling with mental health. And after the pandemic, and the professor said something along the lines of, well, it's not surprising that the human race is suddenly more concerned about its well-being. It just came face to face with its own mortality for the first time in decades, since like the Spanish flu. So it's not really a big surprise. Like it is, like, because we've lived for so long before the pandemic where it wasn't a big deal, and then suddenly it's happening after. But if you look at the grand scheme of the last 100 years, it does very much make sense why suddenly people are kind of looking inwards and going, wait, am I okay?
Especially the Western world, where we're all cushioned by where we live geographically. There's a lot of issues that happens overseas or in less fortunate countries and whatnot, but that have been plaguing their life for the past 100 years. But because we're in such a safe space and stuff, we haven't dealt with it. But yeah, exactly. Just like you said, now that we've had the pandemic, which literally stopped our entire way of life for what, a year? And then it slowly started to restart and whatnot. No, I know, but like the full time stop where literally you'd see pictures of like tourist attractions and stuff like this, where it's just like a ghost town, that kind of whole vibe. Yeah, just like you said, like we have not dealt with something like this in a very long time. And it scared the shit out of people. What's the Beyond Scared Straight or whatever? I feel like it really did that to our kind of generation and our world. You can see like, even with like young people, like schools being shut down, being homeschooled and stuff. I graduated university from my bedroom because I wasn't able to go to school. Like it's definitely put a wrench in our way of life. And I feel like it really made a lot of people rethink, which was needed, but also what do they call it? The reset? The Great Reset or whatever it was called. And like shit like that. It's just, and then just like Zach, he's in the other room doing his hair, but divorce rates went up, home abuse rates went up. Again, just like we were talking before, suicide rates went up. When you actually are literally forced by society to stay at home and be alone with your thoughts, oof, that's a scary place. That is a scary place. If you have not done what you can to deal with those things. But on its own, bruh, it's a lot.
All right. So we're all cosplayers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, it's no like substitution, but how does cosplay help your mental health? Or there may be things you deal with that is like, man, it screws you up, but
honestly, what I experienced for these past 5 years of being a cosplayer, it's I don't know how to describe it. It's relieving for me. It gives me an outlet to be more social because growing up, you guys don't know this, but I grew up. I have autism, and I didn't have communication skills. I didn't have a lot of communication skills. So I was like, I was like an outsider in my school. Like I was in the special education class, and I wasn't talking like I wasn't not in a regular class. I was in a class that requires with that have like third grade reading level and fifth grade math level on my high school years, and I had to return to high school just to get a real diploma. And like they didn't think I could do it, so I got a diploma for film. So yeah,
Hell yeah,
and
filmmaking.
yeah. And what was hard for me growing up having autism was having the ability to connect with people and developing conversation skills, because I didn't know how to develop that until I went to community college and discovered cosplaying. And I remember I was in this newspaper club. I interviewed these cosplayers and why they do it, and it's their outlet. And I started to do cosplay because of that, and it's freeing. It feels like I feel more myself than ever. I feel more comfortable with myself. I feel more social with myself. Like like cosplaying gives me an outlet to express myself more. I think I became much more of a happy person because of that, and I discovered my passion of film because of my cosplay. Because I often make whenever I finish a costume or presenting a new cosplay, I love to create these videos that entertains people, and just like do it. And and whenever I go to cons and meet great cosplayers, we have like these conversations of like, how did you got into cosplay? Why did you got into cosplay? And it's such a great outlet for me. It's it's definitely freeing. It's definitely more like you can open to yourself in such a big community. Not that the cosplay community has its faults. Like it has its negatives, but still I met so many people through cosplay, and I'm friends with some of the people outside of cosplay. I think that's the greatest thing of all, is that not only you have common interests, but you can see these people as like you can see these people as your longtime friends in the long run, outside of being a cosplayer. So I think that's my experience. For me, is that cosplay gave me an open door to not just meet new people, but feel comfortable of yourself, being comfortable who you are as a person. So
That's awesome. Yeah, same, kind of similar to me. I started cosplaying in 2020 because of, well, kind of because of the pandemic. Because before I used to do events for my company, I was always at Cowboys games, Mavs, Stars. My job was to chat with people. I'm a huge people person. I approach strangers in my personal life, let alone my professional life. And that was my job. And then right before COVID, actually, COVID happened like February, like November before COVID. They decided to kill my position, and my director really liked me, so he made sure he found me a job. But he found me a job in cold calling businesses from home. And I'm personable in person. I just not built for cold calling. And it was the most miserable I've ever been in my life. I hit a really, really low time in my place, in my life. I felt I was definitely depressed looking back. But I had a friend who did cosplay, and I noticed I always wanted to do it. I always overdid Halloween, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try getting into it. So first I started, using paper to make with resin and making helmets. I was like, nah, screw that. I'm gonna do foam buildings. I started doing foam smithing. It wasn't exactly perfect. So I was like, nah, screw that. Only 3D printing. So I really got 3D printing because you can make things absolutely perfect. And I started going crazy with that. I wasn't dealing with my emotions. I was dealing with cosplay. So I just always had a project. Like I was building, Iron Man suit, and that turned into my Iron Loki suit. Later after that, I had my Deathstroke. I was like, yeah, I gotta finish. I never gave myself a chance to like process my stuff, and then things kept happening, so I kept piling on projects. But I will say it was a great band, the best Band-Aid I could ever get for things going on in my life. So I'll say that cosplay. Also, I met a great community of people. Some of my good friends I've met through cosplay, who I hang out on a daily, it seems like, let alone going to cons and stuff like that. So it definitely helped broaden who I could talk to. And then getting into the social media aspect of cosplay, it's just a huge community out there that I met some really amazing people. And one of my good friends that I met online, I was able to use her as a sounding board and be able to talk through, because she's been through things. She's a Marine, so she's gone through counseling. So I used her kind of as a sounding board through different things that happened in my life, whether it was a friend committed suicide, a parent committed suicide, or anything like that. I could be like, hey, so this happened. Let's talk through it. And she'd be right there for me. So cosplay's great. Cosplay's not better in counseling, but cosplay is great.
I mean, cosplay is great in a lot of ways because, like for me, similar to you guys, it was a way to express myself artistically. Like growing up, I used to draw a lot of anime. I used to write, and after high school, being in the military, go through college, I lost touch with all of that. Like I gamed a little bit, but as far as like most nerd things, unless it was like a Marvel movie, I kind of lost touch completely with my nerd side. And then once I went to Dragon Con and met a bunch of cosplayers and decided to try it out with my brother, that's when it like opened up a whole world again of like to express my imagination in like real time. And so I was able to create cosplays and build props and build original characters, or even expand on like characters that I loved for years. And it was just a way to express myself, and to have people receive it well, or to be in magazines or to be in newspapers for your art, that can be a good feeling. Some people I know don't care, but for me it was a great feeling, because it was like I never would have thought I would be in a magazine or anything like that. So for that to happen, it just especially through cosplay, through my creation, it was just a wonderful thing. And cosplay took me into that space, because at the time, like around that time, not necessarily the same time, but around that time, I was going through a divorce and I was getting out the military. So it was like my life was kind of changing, going through a transition, and cosplay was like kind of the perfect thing for me to jump in to facilitate that new side of my life. And it brought a happiness that I would have never thought was going to happen. I thought I saw most of all things in life that I was going to enjoy. And so, I have lifelong friends now that I met through cosplay and stuff, so cosplay can be a beautiful thing for some of us.
Mm-hmm. Just because we're getting to crunch time and me and Zach actually have to head out soon, I'll quickly pop in and then Zach can finish up. Same with you guys. I started through my entire life. I've always been a creative. Academic, nah. But artistically, yeah, like that's my shit. And then through just like same as you guys, Halloween. What's like Halloween? I like everyone's like, oh yeah, Christmas is the best. I'm like, no, sorry, Halloween is the best.
Right.
That's because you can embody these characters and stuff that you like idolize as a kid. Like I feel like a lot of us. I've always been a big superhero guy. I've always been a big anime guy. So having like that kind of outlet for Halloween, but every day or every couple of weeks or months, whenever there's a convention and stuff, to bring that kind of love for the characters, to embody them, that like you can bring to the con. You see a bunch of like kids looking at us dressed as superheroes and stuff. It's like that's exactly the same kind of feeling I felt growing up.
It's the best.
Spider-Man, Star Wars, all these things. It's like being able to do that is sick. And then through that, like went again, like we were talking about school and stuff, like I went to school for film as well, and through that I kind of found cosplay. Like I was cosplaying before I went to school, but I found that I could kind of make a life out of it because it's like something I'm willing to like pour myself into and make a career out of it. So like second year of university, I was like, this cosplay thing's pretty cool. I'll go kind of full tilt, and that became like my main priority. But then the pandemic hit, and then that took me out of school and made you think like, oh, obviously school and the world is different, but like nothing is what's it called, guaranteed. So I was like, I'm passionate about this, might as well fully lean into it. So like I converted that into like my entire like full-time thing, and then now I've been fortunate enough to like make it my full-time gig, which has been really cool. But like through that, again, like you meet so many different people, you have so many different opportunities, and it's just like Zach was saying when this question came up, he's like, Reed, it's literally your entire life, because like it is like I would prefer to be in cosplay than regular clothes at this point. Not only do I have so many cosplays, but like it's more fun to embody. Not saying that I don't love being myself. I like to quote Rocky Raccoon, "Ain't no one like me except me," because that's like one of my favorite quotes, and it's true. But like we love all these characters and stuff, so why not go full tilt and kind of have that and just find like-minded people and find a community and find your tribe, as they say. And I feel like definitely in cosplay that has been absolute. Your turn, Zach. He's glazing, he's making his hair and whatnot. He's gonna come back a blonde quickly.
Blonde and shirtless. All right. What's going on? So what was the question again?
What
the exact question?
Yeah, we'll repeat the exact question. What does cosplay do for you?
Sure, because you literally this is cosplay. You just showed up in the cosplay. You switched on us, but it was like, how has cosplay benefited you in your mental health?
So I only got into it a few years ago, and it's because I'm a yes man to experiences. So I'm very much like, hey, you want to go do this thing you've never tried before? I'm like, I'm in. Never done it. Let's go. So I met somebody at a con about 4 years ago now, and they're like, hey, can you come be Colossus in this shoot for us? And I was like, sure. Apparently I was the easiest person to convince for it. So I barely knew this dude, did it, got an article written about me, and thought that was super cool. And then like Reed was saying, it's like I've always been a creative person. And I was like, and now I got to find something to pour my creativeness into like the real world and actually do things and have fun and meet like-minded people. And that was very hard for me at the time because of like and you'll know this, where we work. It doesn't exactly perpetuate people who are creative or who want positive things for you in your life. So it was nice to be with positive people who wanted to do creative of like nerdiness. So it definitely like improved my mental health. I wouldn't say that like it does anything for me personally, other than like gives me a social circle of people that I actually want to be around. I'm gonna go finish doing my hair.
I think not that I want to go, but just time-wise, I think me and Zach we're probably gonna tap out. But
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Conversation. I love that we're able to have this conversation, and it's a safe space and whatnot. And I hope the rest of this goes well.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll all communicate on socials.
Yeah, we'll link up.
Insert shameless plug. Reeds Props Plus. Get Zach on Instagram. Our main things. But we'll talk about it. I don't know if you have to boot us from the call or we have to hang out.
No, you can just drop.
Okay, cool.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Great video.
Yeah, I think my experience has been similar as well. Halloween was like the greatest holiday for me. It was everything. And I was getting divorced as well in 2016. And I was home, and my mom was like, "Oh, you should go to Dragon Con this weekend." I was like, "What are you talking? What is Dragon Con?" Like, I had never heard of it. And so I love the story because like my mom is the one who got me into like going to conventions, because she was just like, "You should just go check it out." And just me like thinking it's this small thing. I'm gonna drive up here and see. And I'm like, this is insanity. But immediately I was talking to people. I was like, I need something to wear. Like, where can I find the costume? And I just started searching cons after that. And he said you start meeting people, building bonds, like real friendships. And it's one of those things where, yeah, it doesn't take the place of like therapy or anything like that, but it's just something that is really good for me still mentally. It's very positive, and gets me hanging out with like-minded individuals.
Love it.
Especially, I'm like you. My first con was Dragon Con, so that was like,
which is wild. I would never tell anyone to make that your first con.
Yeah,
never.
It was a complete accident when we went. So like when we were there, we were staying and planning to just go out in Atlanta for the weekend. We didn't even know, Dragon Con was going down. So when we saw people on the elevator, they started talking to us. That was just like, what is happening right now? Because I didn't know what cosplay was, didn't know what cons were. So it was just like, okay, and they invited us to the bar, and it was great times, man.
Wait, were you staying in a host hotel?
Yeah, so basically I went to Afghanistan. But before you go, your first 6 months you go, come back for 30 days, and then go for another 6 months. So before I went, I had booked, for Labor Day weekend, I booked a room at the Marriott. So I had no clue Dragon Con was going on. I just knew that was Labor Day weekend, knew I was coming into town. So I was like, all right, I'll book that. So when I go on my 30-day R&R, I go to Atlanta for a few days, go back to Chicago, then go back to Afghanistan. Cool. So yeah. That's how I ended up booking the room beforehand. So when we went, we're just thinking like we're just going to the regular Marriott downtown. Next thing I know, like once we got in the elevator, because I don't know how we bypassed all those people, but we just thought it was like, a lot of people. I didn't even really pay attention to see if people were in cosplay. So like, once we finally parked and, we started walking up in there, and like I said, as soon as we got on the elevator, that's when like all types of cosplayers popped in on the elevator, and they started talking to us, and they were under the impression that we, because we're in regular clothes, so they didn't think we were there for Dragon Con, but they started asking us questions. One of the guy who initiated it, he was just like the guy in Children's Hospital, the clown guy. And he was like, have you ever seen, and I was like, Children's Hospital? And then there was another guy dressed like Ruby Rod from Fifth Element. He was like, have you ever seen, I was like, Fifth Element. And he was like, wait a minute. He was like, are you guys here for Dragon Con? We're like, what is Dragon Con? And they're like, oh, you got to come to the bar with us. So we dropped our stuff off in the room. We went down to the bar with them. And man, that's when we seen all these cosplayers, like Xena's right there, like, Sailor Moon's right there. They all partying, Dragon Con, everybody dressed real skimpy too. So like they half naked, and we just like, what is this? Like how do I do this every year? Like, so that was the introduction in the cosplay for me.
One day I'm gonna make it out to Dragon Con. One day.
Oh, you have
even
to.
Even if it's for just a few days. Even if it's
Seriously,
just like 2 days, go.
It's the one con I will not miss. It's like if I have a choice in this, I'm going to Dragon Con.
It's just making out there, getting a hotel like that. That's all sorts of stress.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get going here, guys, but I really appreciate what you guys shared. It was really good stuff. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Noah.
Have a good rest of your night.
Oh, you too.
Me too. I gotta leave a little earlier. So thank you for involving me. I was nervous coming here, but thank you for making me feel comfortable doing this. So yeah. Thank you.
Glad to have you, fellow Kurt Wagner cosplayer. you know.
Cut Wagner from the circus.
Exactly.
All right.
Incredible me next circus. All right.
Have a good one, man.
It's great meeting you.
Yeah, but man, if you can go to Dragon Con, man, like I said, if you could just go for a couple of days, because it's what, 5 days. So
now it keeps backing up. Now, like, because I went, so I generally already home that week. I just go home and I do family stuff before Dragon Con. This year, Wednesday night, they have like a countdown at midnight. It's the beginning, and I'm just like, it's starting on Wednesday now. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Because I remember when we flew in on, I mean, when I went back, I started going back. I first went, that was, I want to say 2016. Then we went back 2017. We got there on Thursday, and like it was already, people in full cosplay, people all out, and Dragon Con is one of those cons, like it doesn't end. It's 24 hours. Yeah. Like there's panels going late night, and there's still people at the bar and stuff. So it was like, even though we got there at like 11:30, it was still tons of people there and like in cosplay and acting like, hey, everything was normal, So shit, man, from start to finish, Dragon Con is like always acting, always jumping,
Yeah, I haven't made it out there because all my cosplays are armor cosplay. So packing them up, getting them there, and trying to do 4 or 5 days of that is insane. So I think if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to bring one big cosplay, and then the rest of the cosplays will be like clothing cosplays. Because that's a lot.
Hey man, if that's how you gotta do it, I would say do it like that. Because the thing is, there is an element where you will be inside too, because it's 4 hotels connected. So you're gonna be inside. So you'll be cool. If you just want to choose one day where you'll be inside the most, that's when I'd wear my armor. But a lot of the days you will be outside, especially like Saturday for the parade and stuff. You're gonna be outside. So those days, that's when you want to wear like your the least or the lightest outfit. Right. Cosplay Superboy or something with just a t-shirt, because like you're gonna be hot as hell that day.
I one of those years I had to cancel the parade. I was like, first I didn't get to sleep until like 5 a.m. and we had to be here like at 6 a.m. And they wanted me to be Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, leather jacket, and I was like, look, man, I literally might pass out if I participate in this. So
100%.
Yeah.
Let me think. The warmest cosplay I think I wore was maybe Aizawa.
What's going on?
What it do, gang? Man,
so like we've talked about a bunch of different things. Like
I've been on. I was listening. I wasn't even like, bro. I was playing with my kids. Got caught realizing SmackDown was on. And my wife was like, "Don't you got something to do?" And I was like, "It's like, man, how everybody doing? Everybody blessed?
Yeah, doing good. Happy Friday."
Man, been a good discussion. I mean, like, you want to say anything about mental health and like, why it's important?
Every man need to understand it's okay to cry. And from that point, they go from like, I have a son and a daughter. Right, I got a 9-year-old son. I had my son when I was 20. Greatest thing that happened to me, saved my life, changed the direction of everything I was doing. And as men in all races, I think what we never have is emotional intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not taught that. I had a discussion a lot with people where they like, why don't men do this? And I'll tell them, we're not taught that. I'm taught. If you break it down, what do you think a little boy is taught all day? You can be what you want to be. Don't cry, be strong, and do what makes you happy. We're not taught it's okay to cry. It's okay that you failed. Get up, try again, do better. So I try to always remember that for myself and for my kids, because, since I have a son, there's a lot of moments where I end up healing myself without trying. He might do something, and I'm like, whoa, why did that shake me? Oh, repressed memory just came back. oh, I went through this and it was handled wrong. So let me try to change it, right? So I can honestly say from having a son, as young as I did have him, like I'm 30 now, shout out to life. But he can say when he talks to my daughter, I tell him all the time, you knew me from who I used to be to the man I am now. So you have a different view of your daddy. You know? So she don't see that daddy made mistakes. I wasn't always superhero. You know the truth. But I even now, man, I've gotten to the point, you know, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just say, you know what, you're right. My bad, you guys. They've seen me cry, they've seen my ups and my downs, and it's more of just thinking, I wish I had that intelligence around me when I was younger, right? You know, I can cry, my son, you know, somebody get in trouble, you know, you end up doing something bad, you get a whooping. We whoop, but we're gonna discuss. And I talked to him about like, hey, why this happened, and the reason if you don't learn this lesson from me now, what the world gonna do if you don't learn it. And I think as men, we fail to have those hard, honest conversations sometimes because it's easier to let me just grab a bottle. Let me just smoke. Let me sit alone in my room and pop it open. You know what I'm saying? It's easier that way. Like, let's be real, right? Yet I found honestly when from cosplaying now to getting around the right people to be able to tell somebody you sad and you hurt and to talk that out is so refreshing, and it's so crazy because we don't get that as men. You know, the safe spaces are so limited to where me and my wife, before we even got married, used to tell all the time, like, I don't want to open up if it's gonna get used against me.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying that, you know, we aren't taught it, and to be honest with you, we're taught the complete opposite. Yeah. We're literally taught not to express feelings, not to show emotions unless it's anger.
That's it.
Like we're taught so differently, you know, as far as like to how we are with other men, you know, to how far as we are with women. You know, we're not supposed to express anything to women about our true emotions or fears or insecurities. We're not supposed to say any of those things, you know. So it's funny, you know, when you say that, because I thought about it, I'm just like, man, we taught to do like a whole 180 from what really like matters and what we're supposed to really do.
Yep. Yeah. And when you think about that, right, what's sad is because women are taught from a young age, be kind, think, do better, treat people right. And like, I even had a homegirl ask me recently, she's like, why aren't men romantic? And I asked her, what man you know that was taught to be romantic? And she's like, what you mean? I said, think about it. We learn romance when we start noticing women. And we learn it from the homies or the old heads around you. We didn't learn it the correct way, that you want to be wined and dined. We learned every wrong thing till we meet a woman that wants to teach us and help us know it the correct way. And then we go, oh, I seen somebody do all this before. So it's, you know, we don't think about how little we're really taught as men, right? Like all of us, I'm sure all of you guys right now, we all know that we need to wake up no matter what. We got to work harder than everybody. Just because you tired and you hurt don't mean nothing. Keep going. Oh, don't nobody want to hear that. We know that phrase, but then what happened? We get around somebody that do want to hear it and we confused.
If you ever encounter somebody like in conflict, you're taught, go fight. Go outside and fight them. I don't want to hear no excuses.
Exactly.
Go fight.
Don't talk it out.
Conflict resolution. Yeah. You never talk to them and see what's wrong, see what's going on. You never taught that. You taught to, you better fight back. That's it. You know, it's just like it's when the difference now with what we know, you know, as far as like mental health and like kind of how to make it, and especially like when you're talking about like the dating world, and you're talking about like romance or any of that stuff. I remember, when I was growing up, buying a girl anything was caking. You caking on it.
Yeah.
You know
Exactly. Betty Crocker over here.
Or something.
My guy in love. My guy in love.
Betty Crocker over here.
Look at him. He in love. Now he buying the shit.
Right. It's just, man, it's crazy, man.
But I think that's why I love the way our generation has been changing the world, right? Because like we really look at everything that sucked, and we're constantly making efforts to be like, my guy, are you good? And somebody, I'm all right. We like, nah. What do you mean? Like, are you actually good? Like, it amazes me every day if you really ask somebody generally, how are you mentally and emotionally? They be like, wait, what? You mean like right now? I'm like, yeah, I asked you, how are you? I meant that question. I didn't ask you, how are you, for you to say, hey, how are you? I'm like, I hate that people answer your question with a question. They go, you go, hey, how are you? Oh man, I'm good. How are you? I'm like, you didn't even hear what I said, did you? That was that was an email response, wasn't it? That was that
Auto reply.
Or deflect. They're like, oh, I'm fine. You're like,
yeah,
no,
that quick one. That
fine,
quick
dude,
one.
Yeah.
That
like
quick
I think that's something I appreciate today is like the homies. Like I literally just we have like real legit conversations. Like, nah, what you going through right now? Like, this is what I'm going through this. Can't y'all got some time for me? Let's talk. Like it's really I can't never say I've seen my uncles, my dad, like my grandparents, none of them do that. So it's refreshing to like be a part of that.
Like when I was going through my divorce, you know what my uncle told me? He said, "Don't worry, boy, you find another pretty one." Not
exactly.
Like,
are you okay?
Like,
what's going on?
Are you okay? Right. Nothing like that.
Yeah, and I think it's like you said, society is growing. I still think there's obviously huge room to grow because I mean you've seen videos online where a guy they'll do experiments, social experiment, and they'll have a dude crying on the street, and people walking looking like what the heck's going on? They'll walk on by, but the moment you put a girl on the street crying, there's people walking up, hey, you okay? You doing all right? And I think that speaks loud to like we're supposed to be fine. I'm fine. We're supposed to be fine. Versus, like vulnerable. Like I think that's honestly, I still have a problem being vulnerable. It's just the way I've been raised.
What did they say, right? Men die normally from heart attacks, stress. Yep. We are the number one contributors to that, right? Like what you just said. Like we are literally, that vulnerability is a weird gray area, right? Like I can even say from when I met Cosplay Alliance, Cosplay Shinobi at the con this year, right? And my homegirl, she told me like, you literally follow his shit. Go talk to him. Like go. And all of y'all know is men, the moment we want to redo something, man, you see him talking to folks is good. Boy, if you don't get your ass over there, you've been called talking about this. And like to do it, and you start networking and meeting people who are happy to see you do something. And I think that's what really made me want to even do the cosplaying deeper, to see people like, I'm 6'3" big dude, and people come to me in my inbox like, bro, I want to do it. I'm like, do it, like let's go, like let's have fun. And to see men like truly just enjoying themselves doing something again has been a blessing, because we all love anime, we love stuff, but the moment you see somebody doing what we do, we all do it. Oh, that's cool, and they're like, come over. Oh, I'm straight.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good, I'm okay. But don't you watch this stuff too? Don't you get all the stuff too? Yeah, but I'm gonna stay.
But and it's funny that you see it. They want to so bad, but they just stigmatize. Like you can't be a nerd. You can't do that. That's child stuff. And I'll tell you, I was at a charity event as Captain America, and there's this dude was like, hey, someone's hitting him, and he's like, dude, go take a picture with him. And I was like, dude, come over here, take a picture. Let's go. And dude comes over. I'm 6'3". Dude was 4 or 5 inches taller than me, like blonde hair, blue eyes. He looked more like Captain America than I did. And so we're taking a picture with him, and I'm like, bro, you want to hold the shield? Because I had the shield right here, the metal shield. And he's like, can I? And I was like, yeah. Put the shield on him. He's all like puffering up. I'm like, bro, you look. I told him, like, you look more like Captain America than I do. You should dress up as Captain America. He's like, nah. I was like, bro, you'd kill it. He's like, really? I was like, dude, yeah. As a Captain America cosplayer, you would kill it. And he's like, oh man, well, I'll think about it. I was like, but it's such a stigma. Like, I mean, even I've people at work find out through social media. They're like, dude, you cosplay? I'm like, yeah, I do. They're like, oh, that's so cool. I'm expecting like weird looks, but no, but a lot of people, they appreciate it, and
It's
you know,
so
it's more
weird
of
to
a
see
intro.
men happy. Like it's crazy that
Right.
sound. Man joy. Like even now, bro. My wife, like my birthday's in July, and she's like, "You still don't like surprise parties?" And I'm like, "Still don't." Just give it to me and let me know. Father's Day just ended, and everybody's trying to do stuff. Like I don't need nothing. See that? And that's the man thing, right? I'm good. I don't need nothing. She's like, you just did all this stuff for me. I'm like, well, I know, but what do you want? What do you mean? What do I want? I mean, we got stuff that we need to fix this. I need to do this. She said, just say what you want. I'm like, what you mean? Like, it's okay. And that's rooted in trauma. That's just men in trauma. And we've all had to grow up quicker than we wanted to. So it's a moment where you're like, can I financially be okay? I bought something for myself. Is that okay? Wait, I'm happy. Wait a minute. Something bad about to happen. I'm relaxing my shoulders. Like, why? I love having the relaxed shoulders, man. Like, I love smiling now. Like, seeing people who just look at you like, man, why you so happy? I'm like, why ain't you happy? Like, what's wrong? Like, let's smile. Let's kick it. Like, I just feel like this new world we're literally building is of healing and of saying, bro, if you need to talk, I want to talk.
Yeah.
Like, let's get it.
You know what happened to me like last weekend? I was just walking on the street. I was walking to work, and sometimes I'm just like I'm in my head. I'm not even, I had headphones on, whatever. Sometimes I'm just going to work. But this day I didn't. And somebody was in a car and they were like parked where I was walking, and somebody look at you, and then you automatically get like, and then they roll down the window or something. They just like, okay, what is it? What's about to, what I'm saying? He's like, hey, how you doing? I'm just like, oh, what's going on? Good morning, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I'm just, I just saw another black man. I just want to say good morning to you. How you doing? I was like, oh, okay, then, my defenses were up though.
You were ready.
You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, no, man, I just want to say good morning, and then hope you have a good day, blah, blah. And so we had a look, and then we had a conversation after that. But it was just like, I was just guarded. I'm just trying to go to work. But moments like that probably made my day, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like just having somebody just say good morning to
I think also what you just said, there's a big one. He subverted your life expectation, right? I see somebody pulling the window down. We about to get to it. Let me go. Oh, it's cool. All right, well, because like I've gotten better at accepting random conversations. Like like I'm big. I got resting bitch face better than anybody without realizing it. And it's like somebody like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm up here. I wasn't even thinking about it. Like I like nowadays when I said like everybody got the first win I think about, bro. Honestly, I woke up. That's how I treat every day now. And it's just that first movement. Like when somebody asks me like, hey, what's good? I'm like, I woke up. Like if you really want to like put that microcosm in of like how blessed you are, you first thing you woke up when you don't believe that, like look at an obituary in any form. Like you won off of that. Like technically speaking, sneezing to kill you. Your heart stop. Like if you really want to think like how can I be like mindful and all that, extra word and shit, but how can I just be happy? I just take my small wins, like I really think I call it toxic positivity in a sense where it's like everything has a silver lining. Either I win or I learn, or I win or I learn. And I'm either gonna keep learning or I'm gonna keep winning till I figure out the right thing to do. And that helped me out a lot. Just like, okay, this did suck, but what can I take out of this? I feel like it's only a loss, especially with the world we live in now with so much access, that if I ain't really learned nothing, then I lost. Like that's my favorite thing to say now. Like it's 2024. I'm pretty sure we can figure this out. And then like, well, because think about it, bro. Like I don't know. Like I've gotten to a point where like everything is so negative, right? Like everybody's okay being negative, but it's so hard to be happy.
Yeah.
And it's like you get on Facebook, the algorithm wants you to either buy some random shit that's $1 off today, or you can buy for $1. Instagram is gonna show you everybody's life that's better than yours. You get on Twitter, it's just porn and hatred. And you just like, and people spend their whole day just doing that, and then you'll see like that one person who just, I'm having a good day. And you're like, right on, dude. Like, hell yeah. Like I think my internet friends are more happy than my real friends sometimes. Like the support you get, the congratulations. And I just realized, sometimes you do have to be, instead of being the bigger person, I'm like, let me be the happiest person.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes people get mad when they see you happy.
Boy.
Shoot.
Oh yeah, that's facts.
They don't like it, man. People out like I'm a real believer of like posting the little wins. So if I get an article on me or if a celebrity likes my stuff, I'm posting. Man, I got people, why you always bragging? Why you always trying to act like, dang, I can't be happy that Will Smith liked my picture? Like, I can't be happy about that? Like, man, so people, they get mad when you happy, man.
Haters, like, you know what I'm saying? Haters.
That's called projection, because why he happy? Why he happy? I ain't happy. And it's like, you can come be happy. Like, it's free. Like, I swear to God, like, you can smile. And like I love seeing people who are weirded out about that. Like, we're cosplaying, we're having fun.
I'll say this: like, y'all can tell I'm a Marvel fan, right?
Right.
When Marvel it's just a comment, right? They comment on my TikTok. Of course, I did TikTok on them commenting. You know, like most of it was, like, oh hey, awesome. Well, Marvel commented. There's like a good handful, I would say like more than 10 people who are like, oh, who gives a crap? It's not a big deal. Oh, why do you like your stuff? Because it's trash. Things of that nature. Like, because I'm a Mr. Nightsuit. They're like, oh, your shit's wrinkled. Why? I'm like, bro, if you're not happy with your life, don't get on the internet and sit there and bring other people down. Like it was more than enough people for me to be concerned for the world, because it was just me being happy, like excited about freaking Marvel, and I don't get people
because what projection is the new commodity. Like, nobody wants to accept the fact that I can be just as happy as the person next to me. Like, let me ask you guys something, right? So this is a thought process I've been working on for a minute. And this is how I kind of got to being a happy person. So you know how we live in the world now. Trigger warning for anybody in the video watching, anything like that, deal with suicide, anything of that nature. But you know how people we see on the internet in the world now, everybody talks about killing themselves, right? Like that's like a big thing now. I always try to ask people, why don't you just kill everything you don't like about yourself? Like, you don't have to die, but you can kill everything you don't like about yourself and do an entire 180 on your life. No one can stop you. Like, if you do not like where you at in life, before we go to that ending route, and it's only because I had to do it, break it all. Like, destroy everything about yourself that you don't like. Kill the you hate and grow the person you want to be. Because generally, if we look at everything like how business people do, out of feelings, just facts, it's probably the people you around, the environment you're in, the shit you choose to accept. If you treat your entire life like a business, I guarantee you wouldn't take half the shit you do. But because you don't treat your life like that, you accept the bullshit. You accept the things you don't want to accept. But if I guarantee if you put your money next to all those same things, you'd have an entire different thought. So treat yourself like that. You are your biggest business, and it can only grow if you grow yourself. And like, that helped me out a lot. Like, I really went from, and it literally happened for me, man, where I'd say like 12th grade year of high school, like 2011 graduating, I seen some kids skating, right? And everybody in the circle I used to run, what the fuck they doing? Hell no. And I was like, one of them kicked me a skateboard, said, shit, why don't you try it then? Everybody else, no, hell no. I got on that motherfucking fail and laughed so hard. And I made some of the closest friends I had from it. And it was just me taking a chance, getting out of my environment. Bloop, let's see what happens here. Oh. And then you find out so many people in the hood do all the things that they don't want to tell about. Oh, bro, I used to skate. Oh, bro, I watched that shit. Oh, bro, I do this and then I'm like, why don't you? Oh, we can't do this shit, bro. We can't do this shit. And I'm like, but you just told me you did it. You just said it out your mouth. You did it. Man, you know, why girls like you? I ain't mad and, you know, scary. You know, I'm happy. I'm not a creep.
Well, hey, what's funny though, like I had to explain because one of my cousins was like, man, what's up with this cosplay stuff? Man, you been like when I started cosplaying. And I'm like, what you mean? And like, man, what's why you be doing? Why you dressing up? I'm like, think about it. We all grew up watching sports stuff like that. You play sports. You go to a football game, you throwing on somebody's jersey. You're sitting there with a whole bunch of people. Like what are you doing? You cosplaying a football. Like you were literally at a football game. It's nothing different. It's literally nothing. It's a fandom. It's a fandom. And he was like,
I don't want to hear no women say nothing about it. As much as they've been wearing cowboy hats and shit like that, like Beyonce, y'all ain't from Texas, y'all ain't from the South. Now y'all rocking cowboy boots. No, man, I don't want to hear nothing about cosplay.
It's the weirdest shit. Bro, you just gave me the best thing to say to people when they say that to me. They're like, don't you wear football jerseys? All right, welcome to the cosplay community then. What's good? I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Just like, bro, what you do? You go, you know what I mean? You're gonna go to the tailgate before the game, you go to the game, you go like living a life around, the same type of thing.
I mean, but you know that, not to dog on them, but look at the Swifties. They dress up as Taylor Swift's different outfits.
That's a whole cosplay.
Taylor Swift.
Oh my god. And you know what? And I think that's just you right, because the world is so like, why do you dress up as characters? I'm like, technically speaking, you dress up every day you walk out the house, right? So who's happier being them? You know, like why is it? I just wonder why is it so mad? Why is the world hateful of individuals? Because like as an individual, you always spot somebody that's literally themselves, right? Mm-hmm. Like without trying, y'all make eye contact. Oh, there's another individual. Cool. And you just see somebody in the background of both of you like, I hate I hate the way that you walk, the way that you
I was about to say, I hate the way that you walk.
And it's like, damn, what did I do? You happy? Bro, this Ken Enough hoodie gets me so much shit.
Which is wild. It is wild. A billion. Come on. You know how many people watch that movie? Like, come on now. Like, those same people giving you stuff, I guarantee half of them watch the movie.
Oh, and my favorite thing is somebody say, man, think he can. Man, want to be a Barbie doll. I was like, you did you think of anything you just said? No, hell no, I ain't want to watch that movie. And I said, you got a girl in your life? Man, I want to go see that shit. I'm like, okay, so you ain't got no woman in your life. Okay, cool. You know, it's cool. You ain't got nobody that you think would like this type of movie. No, man, you know, it's something about everybody like yellow eyes and bad kidneys. I don't know. Maybe that's it. You know, everybody like that.
Hey, it's funny because like whenever like my cousins used to do this. They don't do this no more. But when I first started cosplaying, they used to always be like, man, why you on that cosplay stuff, man? That I used to be on girls and all that. Then I show up my cosplay page and they'll see all the women I cosplay with. And they'll be like, wait a minute, that girl cosplaying too? I'm like, yeah, that girl cosplaying too? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, there's women just like us. You know what I'm saying?
Look, my friends better than your friends. That's what I tell them.
What you said. And then look, after that, what you go into this? Man, put me in on the cosplay. Right. I'm like, buy an outfit. Matter of fact, you ain't got to buy. You want to buy, build, what you want to do? Like, how do you want to do? Man, Key, you be painting your nails, man. I don't know if I could do that. I was like, it's not gonna change you. I swear to God. I just want you to know that if I put black nail polish on your hand, like I did it for my Itachi shoot, and like two of my friends, like, oh, now he's painting his nails. I was like, bro, one, I have a daughter. Don't care. Two, It's nail polish. Is it? I didn't know that. You like women? Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that nail polish was going to greatly affect that from you.
Until a month ago, I'm sure they listened to Drake.
Oh, bro.
Drake been painting his nails for the past 4 years. So,
bro, that's the shit that gets me the most. Where it's like, oh, so now that somebody famous is doing it, you now want to try it instead of doing something that makes you happy. Okay, and you're wondering now why girls still won't talk. I don't know. It look like you checked all the boxes, right, Drake? The superstars do this, and I like the Naruto rap songs. Them folks be doing too, bro. I'm like, okay, cool. You talking about Kage Sasuke? No. Yeah. Them. Oh, I'm like, okay, y'all know I just made up a name and told him that, right? They'd be like, and like I was so happy even this year's MomoCon, just seeing like the spread of different people, different things. Like the maid fits were wild this year. Like everybody was doing their own thing, and I just was like, yo, are we finally just getting to a point where there's gonna be a mass collection of we're okay that you don't like our shit? And we're just slowly seeing that divide of how many people are like, I don't like it. And it's like, okay, you're allowed to not like what I do. It's a safe space. It's okay. And it's just seeing so many people who are like, why aren't you mad that I'm mad? And it's like, bro, that's you. It's okay.
Right.
No, and then now you start seeing people like Megan Thee Stallion. It's like who puts on, and they're like, oh, but she on that same stuff. I was like, yeah.
They're like, oh, she cloud chasing. I'm like, she been doing this for the past 4-5 years. She done cosplayed like 10 times. It's a point in time where you got to realize that might not just be for clout. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, when she did the accurate Death the Kid, I said, oh, she real. I was like, oh, okay. Like you, and I mean, to be honest, everybody, you can tell when someone's doing it as a fad, and you can tell when it's a hobby. Like you can tell when. I just feel like even for men nowadays, it's the joy I'm seeing of more men just doing cosplays and the support I'm seeing out of it, where you're seeing more groups of people saying like, bro, are you trying to learn to build something? Are you trying to do this? Like I even for my Kaido cosplay I had a guy reach out to me for 3D printing my club that helped me do it because he knew what I was trying to do. Like we have so much help, but it's always like, hey, I like cosplay. Can I?
Yo, you know what was the craziest?
As a man, you're not even allowed to ask for help. You know?
Yeah. Look. One of the best things I've seen this year, Kev on stage going from like, what's somebody recommend an anime for me, and he jumped right into it. Next thing I know, he had a Attack on Titan cosplay, and he's just like, what next anime? Y'all got any more than anime? And now he's gonna be. They just announced he's gonna be doing a comedy show at DreamCon, like all in the span of like 4 or 5 months. You just seen him just like really get into anime.
And is that not motivation? Like, crazy. Like for the people who want to hate, like since I think it's been now almost 6 months since I started cosplaying, because I knew people who did it. I would take photos. I'd be around it. I was so deep. And my homegirl Mia, her photographer Shauna used to come to me all the time. She's like, why don't you do this, right? And I'm like, I try. You know, I got this cool ass Akatsuki jacket at the crib and the toe man. She's like, yeah, I know you keep buying shit and showing that shit, but you don't never do nothing with it. Like she gave me a shoot, got it going, and she the one who got me on like all my big characters, my Kaidos, my Laws, like all my big guys. She's like, no one does the big guys. All the big guys want to be the small guys. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Well, let me address that though.
Do it.
So when I first started cosplaying, I used to do a bunch of buff characters. But then people would try to put you in that box, and they'd be like, yeah, just keep doing buff characters, keep doing buff characters. It's like, wait a minute. I like Gojo. You know what I'm saying? I like Itachi. I want to do these smaller characters. So the buff dudes end up doing smaller characters sometimes.
So okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it looks better.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, that's why we you know how it is. Sometimes you want to try out, and then you're like, wait, I like doing these characters. So especially like the Tokyo Avengers characters, and if you like anime, there's a lot of real skinny characters in anime. Most anime protagonists are real small guys. So you know, That's
You
kind
get
of
what
how
you
it
can
is.
do. Because look, I did try to put a list. Like I done went on Chat GPT, like over 633 characters, and that list wasn't that big. And then when you start trying to look at outfits, and it's like, okay, so there's just a 3-piece suit. Okay, so there's just a 3-piece suit. Okay, that's the suit with the shirt off.
Right.
5'11" and under cosplay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. And I enjoy it, bro, because now it's just great seeing people like you said, when you do something different, they're like, oh shit, I didn't think of it. And I'm like, yeah. Like I'm working on a Waluigi cosplay now because I call him when I play Mario Party with my kids biggest hater. Because I'm just like, you can't tell me Waluigi with the not like us wouldn't be perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Like
I'm trying to get.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm trying to get big, like big and muscle. I'm tall and skinny. I'm 6'3" and I'm like super skinny. I'm trying to get big, not to fit a cosplay, but to make a cosplay out of its realm. So my dream is once I get muscles and everything, I want to put on a Jawa suit from Star Wars and just be this big, giant freaking Jawa with arms sticking out. Just
that is scary. That's terrifying.
Right.
That's crazy.
A black Jawa. First of all,
can you imagine a 6'3" Jawa?
People sleep on Jawas because Jawas fuck everybody up.
Yeah.
Every protagonist has gotten fucked up by a group of Jawas. So it's like a buff one, man. That's
I will be a crew of Jawa.
That's literally you just stop walking and be like, be still. Like maybe if we don't move.
Walk up to somebody, just stand in front of them to hand me their shit, and I just take it from them.
Gosh, that's scary. Yeah, do that. I'm here
crazy.
for that. Because that's crazy. No, and
that's goals.
But you know what? I think what's great about all of this is that it always still ties back to mental health because you have joy doing all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're having so much fun. And I mean, even these moments of us right here just cathartically laughing, like the people in the comments, everybody watching, like, yo, people may say it's too many podcasts, but I'm glad people at least talking now. Because we are now if we could filter, throw all the 50-50 conversations off a cliff, that'd be great. If we can throw the men versus women convos, that'd be great. But if we can just get more people like these safe spaces where it's okay, and like I even think because like we have a group now, because there's Nerd Life 2.0 in North Carolina that we mess with a lot. They actually helped us kind of start our group, which is Cold Bluff, where I've been doing in Tennessee now, trying to just take more of a cosplay is a safe space for everybody. Like that's our motto. Like it's not about who got the best. This is a safe space. This is for everyone. Come be happy. You want to do it? Like I think I have maybe in our Slack channel, I got almost 120 people. I want to say 100 of those, that number just watching our background people. And I didn't even realize how many people were in there till I asked a question about something and got a whole bunch of messages. I was like, who the fuck? And they was saying that, no, I really want to do this, but man, I'm just waiting right now. I'm kind of seeing how you guys do. And I'm like, bro, it's okay. Like, this is our safe space. Like, we setting up every month. We try to do a shoot. We come up with ideas. We made an event space recently just because somebody asked for one. It was like,
nice.
We got a space just to, if I just want to say some shit and I won't be judged, I'm like, I can make one. Hell yeah. And, and I think that we're just finally getting into this realm of, I have a tribe. People are okay with me not being perfect. And it's like, yeah. Like, if you literally want to see how somebody act, and just say this to them, and it'll fuck them up, especially women. Say, when you get around me, all I want you to be is you. They're gonna be like, what that mean? I just want you to be you. Well, I'm a bitch. Okay. I mean, you can be a bitch and a good person. You can be a lovable asshole. No one said there was a box you literally had to be in, but the world you grew up in. Okay. I know some of the biggest thugs in the world who love opera music and are scared to talk about it. And I'm like, bro, go get you a 3-piece suit, hit the fucking places that do that, and enjoy the life you might get out of it.
So, look, I thought I dated this woman, right? And she's like, I'm just warning you, like, I once I get attaching and I'm like, I'll be all over you. I was like, I'm not like them other dudes. I love affection. I want to be close to you. Like I'm not. That's not me. Trust me. It's gonna work out fine.
Oh wait, you're not hard-bodied and mad? You're not mad right now? You didn't wake up pissed off at the world? Like, I'm just happy we're just in these spaces now, because even like what there's mindfulness. Like I've went through all of them, like spiritual shit. Like I got stuff on me now, but I just tell folks, look, if it works for somebody else to keep them happy, I'm here for it. Like we literally, everything is teaching us negativity. Like, and it bores me. Like I don't know how bored I am of hearing how bad everything is without a solution. And I'm not saying you got to fix it from that solution, but if you can spend all day just being mad, you can't tell me you ain't got an hour to just do some good shit. Like, people don't like being by themselves because they just got to deal with themselves. And I'm like people say, why? How can you meditate? They're just you sitting in the room without nothing. I'm like, yeah, right. You know, you slick do that at work. You know that, right? Hey, what you mean? Don't you got to just focus, laser in on a job or whatever, and you kind of ignore the background? Yeah, that's meditation in a sense. If you, and they're like, oh, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with, you know, heal the inner kid and you be the person you wanted to be when you were little. Like, that is still an option. We grew up thinking that once you hit 30, you old, all this stupid shit. Like, life sucks, and it's like, no, his life sucks because of the choices he made. I want to be happy. I'm gonna have fun. And I even found out, like, in the last year, like, you can have fun without substances, right? Like, I can go to a party. I don't need 2 shots to make me dance and have fun. I don't need no gas before I can go do stuff. I'm like, I can naturally have fun. And if I embarrass myself, okay, I probably made somebody laugh. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? I got some giggles. Somebody laughed at me. I was like, bro, I was in Atlanta at MomoCon dressed like a red panda from Turning Red, right? Like, there's not much y'all can do at this point.
Facts.
And then what's weird about it, what gets me about the mental health issues, and y'all got to help me with this one for all our anime blurs, right? Otakus, anybody. You watch shonen anime that literally will show you a protagonist crying, screaming at the top of his lungs about his friends, but you won't do it. I seen Naruto be a real homie, cry, scream that his friend was making a wrong choice and actively fought against it.
Hey guys,
but
I'm sorry.
Oh, he froze.
Yeah, he froze up. Yeah, I think he froze out.
Friezo, you froze.
Hey guys, it's top of the hour. I gotta get out.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 2 hours, so yeah, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up. But appreciate you joining the conversation.
Like, that is perfect. And nah, man, shout out to you for doing this for everybody too, bro. Like, ain't nobody gave you flowers on that.
Acting up. Hey guys, I gotta go. I appreciate y'all. I'll make sure I follow all of y'all. If you make sure you follow.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah,
sure.
no. Yeah, he froze. Yep.
Yeah, I see his internet keeps going in and out. But yeah, man, no, like, this is, I try to do them like a couple times a year as far as like the mental health, at least. Like, we did it really showed how important it was to people, because like early in the year, I think it was this year, but we had like to have like 4 different everybody's like, I want to talk. So we had to have literally 4 different podcasts just to account for the number of people that wanted to discuss mental health. It was crazy.
That's a beautiful problem to have.
Yeah, it was. I was like, no, this is good.
But see, and that's, I mean, we're getting to a point where I think everybody's looking for a safe space.
Oh,
Like,
hold on. All right, I'm going to call her back.
But we're about to end this anyway. But man, no,
yeah.
this is like, that's why I said when I was listening to my ear when I was outside hearing, I said, man, I'm supposed to be on this anyway. But it's definitely needed, and if no one has given you the flowers from it, bro, I thank you for giving us this stadium, this stage, and this ability.
Well, I appreciate you. It's easy being
you froze up, you back.
I really appreciate it, but I'm just being able to connect with people like you, and it makes this all like, you know, worth it and special, you know, to me. And to kind of close it out, like just so everyone knows, like June is Men's Mental Health Month, and it's an important conversation. We're still trying to end the stigma. Yeah, is it better? But still, people have this man up mentality. You know, we changed man up and ask for help. Man up, ask for help. Man up and don't be afraid to be happy. Choose happiness. That's what I want for you. But if you tuned in, I appreciate you. You are enough, everyone. You are enough.
That's it. That's it. Man, hey, when you wake up in the morning, I always remember you got the best gift of the world. You still fucking here. This is a game. Let's go. Side quest this shit out. Do it. Be happy, bros. Like, we got it. Like, I don't think we realize how easy it is to just, like, treat it like a game, bro. Treat it like an anime. You're the protagonist.
Exactly.
You are the pro. You got your own stat skills. Treat this shit like we all did Elden Ring and max this shit out.
Yeah.
Like, look, it's okay.
There's so many options. Your dog you have, your cat you have, you don't even know. That's an emotional support animal. You don't even know it. We're just providing you that support.
But hey, I appreciate you, bro. We got more. We'll do more because I gotta get you. I gotta get you on my stuff anyway. So
yeah, let me know.
We gonna work. Yeah, I love this chat. We got to make this chat. Yeah, we gonna talk. I love y'all.
Yes, sir.
Everybody stay blessed. Be blessed. Be
Have
great.
a good weekend.
Stay awesome. You too, man.
If you're watching this episode on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below on what topics you would like to see us cover on future podcast episodes. Also, all episodes are available in audio format on all major podcast platforms. Thank you for tuning in.